Hello to the mighty middle school team here at Green Hills Academy. Thank you for following along for me today. This is Miss Jessie, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about our walkthrough form that we're utilizing for the next few weeks and how we got to this process. Now, if you remember correctly, we just finished a wonderful mighty PD where we talked about the difference between good instruction and effective instruction. Based upon our independent activity, our classwork that you turned into me, I went ahead and tallied what we felt that we were effective and good in. And that is what's driving our observations for the next couple of weeks, meaning that this is now an opportunity for us to become better. All observations and walkthroughs are going to go through a coaching cycle, just like you would do with your students, where we will discuss your feedback and we will discuss practices on how to improve those things that we need to figure out. But before we start that, I really need to walk you through this form because there's some things that might be easy to understand, and there's some things that we have to grow, learn, and understand even more. We are moving toward a digital platform basis with our observations because I want to be able to keep data on what we are as a school and as a unit and how we're progressing forward. However, this is the walkthrough form, and I'm sending you a link of a sample so you can do your own observation form on a video that I'm going to show you in a little bit. So the very first parts of this is very simple, and this is where we just put the teacher name and the subject, the date of the walkthrough, and the time. And then the next piece, because one of the things that we stated that we did very well is create student-centered objectives. So we're going to ask, what is the clear lesson objective? And it should be posted in the board in student-friendly language. So whoever's observing you is going to type directly the objective that you stated on the board because that objective is our vision and it drives the learning. Okay, and then here are 3 questions. I'm going to break them down. That's based upon a rubric of understanding the levels of certain student-centered objectives. The very first one is discussing the objective of the lesson, the purpose, and there's 5 different ratings. Let me explain something first. The 5th rating is actually very, very hard to get to. It's kind of like being highly effective. And that rating is really hard, but it's a rating that we're trying to grow towards. So please do not try to strive towards this one just yet if we're all growing. We're looking to be in this 3rd or 4th category. However, the very first one is teacher does not state objective nor has the objective posted, and that is your first. The other one is teacher verbally alludes to the objective, but the student cannot verbalize it, nor is it posted. The next one is the teacher has the objective posted and states its importance, however, it's unclear student understands what they will be doing or learning. This right here, the teacher has facilitated a cohesive lesson to which all elements are sequenced towards mastery of the objectives to which the students can explain. That can explain is that student product that we talked about. In order for something to be effective, it must be able to be produced by the students. So this is actually what our goal is, but I wanted to break down exactly each step. The next question focuses on student-centered objectives again, and once again, this is an area we stated that we are good at. So we talk now about the use of instructional strategies that were being utilized to gain student understanding for that objective. The teacher uses only 1 or 2 instructional strategies that focus on the I-do practices or direct instruction. Well, our next level is the teacher uses instructional strategies that do not successfully lead students to showing the understanding of objective. However, here, teacher selects instructional strategies that align to the lesson objectives, but may or may not lead towards success. The last one is the teacher selects and executes instructional strategies that effectively support the lesson objectives. And I will let you know that this also can be referenced and observed in your lesson plan. And so those are things that when your observer comes in, if you have the lesson plan ready and available, they can look at it at that time. So it's not something where they'll go back and look at it. They are making the observation during the 10 to 15 minute snapshot that they're going into a classroom. Your last question regarding student-centered objectives is the student's results, the product. And it here says students have limited or no opportunities to practice what they're learning during the lesson. The next one is students have a brief or infrequent opportunities to practice the skills and knowledge. I will also say here students is plural. So we also look at the opportunity of the students, not just one or two, that they're being able to have these skills and knowledge practice. The next one is students practice, apply, and demonstrate the knowledge in the lesson through meaningful activities, which is actually your goal. And then you have students do the previous column. So this is really good. And they also demonstrate understanding through correct responses in student work or by asking relevant, clarifying questions. Now this number one is a fifth one again, and this is where we talk about going to ideally. It takes a lot of work, but students take leadership roles during majority of the lesson, 51% of the time, and require little to no guidance from their teacher to maintain momentum. As I said, this is a growth goal. So if you're not quite hitting this number 5, it's okay. It's a target for us to go to. Now, another thing that we turned around and said that we did a lot of very well was student engagement in the activities. So we are looking now at student engagement being an effective method of instruction here. And so here is your rubric here of engagement through student work. A significant percentage of students are disengaged and do not comply with teacher instruction. We also have students passively comply with teacher direction by completing the minimum requirements necessary. Next, we have some students show active engagement by displaying active efforts. However, there is a significant number of the class that's passively engaged. This next one is number 4, 70% of the class or more show active engagement by participating in completing tasks and volunteering. Then we have this fifth one, which once again is a mastery goal of students connect the mastery of the lesson through engagement to their long-term academic and personal goals and interests. We're really shooting for this target here, which is your 4th target. Next is a student engagement checkpoint. What happens is that there is a point, unbeknownst to the teacher, that the observer will turn around and take a snapshot of the learning. In that snapshot, they are going to see and determine and count physically the number of students who are actively engaged in the teacher instructions at that time. And then we're going to mark which percentage that is during that checkpoint. Is that 25% and lower? Is that 50% to 75%? Is that 76 to 100? That's what we do at that checkpoint. Our next one, and you guys picked, you said questioning is something that we're good at with higher order thinking questions, student response questions. We really thought questions was something great. So this is us now tracking our questions. So we have 3 different levels of question based on Bloom's taxonomy. Your remembering level, your understanding level, your level 2, which is applying and analyzing, and your level 3, which is create and evaluate. So level 1 questions are not known to be higher order thinking. So those are your questions that have your who did this, what comes next, how did they get there. Your who, what, when, where, and how questions tend to be remembering, meaning that you're just looking at the text and remembering, or you're going ahead and paraphrasing or understanding. Can you summarize the following? What do you understand? Explain to me. Now, every time a question's asked in the classroom, we will mark which level it is on. Therefore, we kind of see exactly where they are. When we get to level 2 and level 3, we are now in our higher order thinking type questions. So those questions tend to be, compare this to what we've already learned. Exactly what would happen if this happened instead? What do you predict could happen based upon what in the test? Those are applying and analyzation. So as soon as that question is asked, either by teacher or student, we will which question, how many questions it was for. So that is a way for us to track our student questioning and higher order thinking skills. And if you want to see some examples, I do have video that we'll be utilizing in additional PD. Here's another one. This is another checkpoint. When we look for checking for understanding, which we said was good as well, we're going to ask how many methods were used to check student understanding during this observational period. We're going to say during that time, did we see 2 or fewer, or did we see 3 to 5? And if there's more than 5, I'll put a box in for that. And so we're taking this data for us as a school, and then we're actually going to look and say, what are some of the types of understanding methods that were observed, and we'll be able to check those off so we can see what we really do utilize well as a school and what we possibly need to have more work on. Then this last portion is just written notes from the observation by the observer, where we can just write and jot down the things that we've seen, and any questions or considerations. Have you considered this pertain, or have you considered that? And so this is where we really start our communication process in coaching and building what we're doing in the classroom. So this is just a brief synopsis of this, but I want to go ahead and send you a link so you can practice utilizing this yourself. And we can do that because there is a practice video, and what I've done is actually found one of my old classroom videos. I'm doing a model lesson, and I provide them for you. Let's listen for a second.
We'll be learning today. Does that kind of make sense or no?
Yes.
Yeah. You sure?
Yes.
What are we doing? Tell her real quick. What are we doing? Talk about it. Let me say it again. We're going to look at these words together. And we're going to figure out the words or the vocabulary we think we're going to learn about. Okay?
Okay.
With your group. You sure you're ready?
Yes.
Let's go. I'm going to give you guys about a minute right now across all of what you do not think we'll be learning about.
So I'm going to go ahead and send a link to this video, and what I would suggest is to watch this video and then go back, and please, I'm looking forward to that feedback, to do a walkthrough form in that quick 10 minutes and go ahead and state what you see or what you do not see and be able to actually utilize it in that practice. Thank you so much for following along. If you have any questions, please shoot me an email or even a WhatsApp. I am so happy to help you understand this process as we move forward to building and doing great things, and we're going towards excellence. I will talk to you later, and I'll definitely see you around. Thank you so much, and bye-bye.